Alright, so for those of you who've been keeping up with my project, you're probably wondering why the original bearings are back in the original case. And the simplest explanation I can give you guys is we had a little bit of a problem. So that is the crankcase wall no longer attached to the new part. So while I was setting all the bearings into this case, I got to the main bearing and I put heat to the case and I tried to punch it down, and no matter how hard I hit it, I couldn't get it 100% the way down. It was like 99%. You know, every time I'd practice fit it to see if it was enough, the crankshaft was holding it up just enough that there was a little bit of a gap between the two halves of the case, which is not good. You can't put it back together like that. So I took it over to my local machine shop guy here, Barry, and he has a press, a hydraulic press. And so I had him put some pressure down on the bearing. We were trying to sit it down the rest of the way, and all of a sudden, and we didn't really put all that much pressure on it either, mind you, all of a sudden we hear this. And basically, we pressed the bearing through the case. So yeah, pretty much rendered this part completely useless in just 10 seconds. That's a $425 part plus shipping. So really sucked. I was pretty heartbroken at that moment. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't so pissed off that I had a fit or anything, but you know, I'm just sitting there in the shop wondering, scrambling in my head, saying to myself, oh my god, what am I going to do now? Am I going to blow another $400 just so we can do this again, or should I try to revive the old part? Didn't really know what to do. And Barry starts looking it over, and he sees that the metal's so thin, and that's when I had to tell him, well, yeah, I had the part machined. It had to be machined to fit a bigger bearing. So it became evident that this just was not meant to be machined like that. So that being said, we had to come up with a solution, and it turns out that Barry has a MIG welder, which I didn't know. See, I thought that this whole time that he didn't have the ability to work on aluminum parts. But it turns out he does. And if I would have known that, I never would have bought that part. I would have just had him do what he did here. So I gave him the old case, and as you can see, you might remember the bird shit weld that was right here. Well, or on the inside there. Well, you can see now it's been broken out. You can also see that there's a shift pin that's located in the right position. So using the measurements from the new part, we were able to basically machine the old part to work again. Now, of course, you remember I had to put holes in this part to get the main bearing back out, so he took these engine pins that he uses to seal up cracks in engine blocks and put them in place there, so that will take care of that. So now all I've got to do is, I've got a circlip on the way for the bearing cage here, and I also have to get this bearing cage just a little bit further down because it's not quite 100% down. But after that I can start reassembling this case. So yeah, the crisis is basically averted, but unfortunately it was a costly lesson, you know, $425 and quite a few weeks worth of waiting for that part to come back here, you know, anticipating it. But in the end, I get to save the original part, get to keep the numbers matching. There's some things about the original part that I like more. For instance, the starter spring ears, these little guys here that fit the starter spring, they're thicker on this part. I don't know why, but on the new part they're not quite as tall. I don't know if you can see them in there. They're not quite as tall, they're not quite as well built, so there are some pluses to saving the original part. But yeah, it was not a good feeling. Took a couple weeks for Barry to fix the original here, but yeah, we're pretty much ready to start reassembling just as soon as I get my circlip in the mail.